So Holy Week is coming up. And if you have kids, especially if you have little kids, Holy Week can get dicey because you can't understand the celebration of the empty tomb, the risen Christ, without going through the pain of Good Friday. And the story of Good Friday is pretty horrific and gruesome and ugly. And it is not something we want to talk with our small children about. Things that are gruesome and ugly, they have to deal with enough of that anyway. So, can we talk about Holy Week with our children, even our small children, and tell the whole story? And the answer is yes, we can. You know, children participate in the rituals and the traditions of the church before they fully understand them. Kids learn to say the Lord's Prayer early on before they know what those words mean or fully understand. Many traditions have kids come to the table, the Lord's Supper, before they truly understand what that's all about. And one could argue that none of us really fully understand any of those things, that our whole faith journey is a journey of understanding. So we can talk to the kids about all of Holy Week in ways that they can understand. One of the first things we can do is when we talk about Jesus and why was Jesus put to death. And those are good words to use, put to death. I know that's not a term we really use right now in these days, but kids know what that means. And it's not murdered or killed. It doesn't have those harsh, violent connotations. So, put to death, that is a fine term to use with children. So, why was Jesus put to death? Well, Jesus came to teach us how to love and to teach us that we're loved and that we are supposed to share that love. And you can let them know that not everybody wants to love and not everybody wants to share. And trust me, kids get that. And so there were people in power who had Jesus put to death. And there is absolutely no reason to throw any ethnic group under the bus when the question of who killed Jesus comes up. Because the truth is, it wasn't any one ethnic group. It was people in power, people who had authority. And Jesus challenged that authority. And that is why he was put to death. And in fact, it was people just like us that got caught up in the mob mentality of the whole situation. It was people just like us who called for the murderer to be released and for Jesus to be put to death. So that's who put Jesus to death. People in authority and people just like us. And then, of course, you can share with them the joy of Easter. And in fact, you should never, ever, ever end the story of Holy Week with the crucifixion, because that is not the end of the story. In the Protestant tradition, our crosses are always empty, because Jesus is not on the cross. Jesus lives. And you may have a cross in your home or even around your neck that you can show your kids as an example of this. This is why we display, wear, show an empty cross, because Jesus is alive. Kids just need to know that because of what God did for us through Jesus, that we know that in life or in death, we are loved and never need to be afraid. And that is what we celebrate on Easter morning. So blessings on your journey with your family as we travel through all of Holy Week.